Well, that was anticlimactic. When news first broke of Multiversus' second death, everybody's immediate reaction was, dang it, Warner Brothers. But then some stuff got leaked on Reddit and now everybody is blaming this guy, Tony. Now it would be very easy to just make a video going, hi, I'm OKOJ, and Tony from Multiversus gave me ED. But we're not gonna do that. In the frenzy of everybody going, oh, Tony did this, oh, Tony did that, apparently Tony did all these nasty little things. Warner Brothers wasn't guilty at all. Like, the fact that we all immediately came to the conclusion before the Reddit leaks that, oh, well, it's Warner's fault, says something. Like, a company with that kind of reputation had to have something to do with the death of Multiversus. Let's actually get into the autopsy of what happened here and kind of dissect how this game died again and some of the wrong decisions made, since I'm just so much smarter than everybody that worked on this game. One of the more obvious problems was the system change from beta to release. They made a lot of gameplay changes and the game in general just got slowed down to the point that it didn't feel the same anymore, which is weird when a lot of the feedback from the beta was, we really like the beta. It seems like you would just make sure everything runs smooth, iron out the glitches, iron out the servers, make some new skins, and put it on Steam. I can only imagine this was done to make competitive doubles easier to read. Yet, people love Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and love Melee. Those competitive scenes are super popular. I don't think competitive doubles actually had a problem. Not to the point where you completely remake your game. When you watch a fighting game and you're from the outside, yeah, you don't necessarily know what's going on, but that's okay. You can be a little dazed and confused and still enjoy yourself. I know next to nothing about KI, but I still pull up a combo breaker every now and again just because it's a fun watch. Another little point of tension would be the roster. And just now when I said that, a bunch of people went, yes, of course, they never added Ben 10. That would have saved the game. Guys, I figured it out. People stop playing because there's not enough upchuck. Coney, it's okay. We're gonna get blocks in, so you can just come on back. You can reinstall now, TK Breezy. We have iGuy. What are you talking about, bro? When I say the roster had issues, I meant how the majority of it was locked off. I think if you're gonna look to a free-to-play game with a roster of characters to take inspiration from, I think Smite handled it very well. The roster's locked, but there is a God Pass where it's a one-time purchase and then you get all the characters and any future characters for free. Every time a character releases, they have a skin that comes with them. So just because you're getting the character, there's still a purchase to be made there. So I'm playing Smite, a new character comes out, I say, okay, hey, let me try the new thing. Play them for a couple matches, and now that I'm having fun, I'm more likely to buy the skin. If I don't have access to a character, I'm not tempted to buy the skin for them. So now let's take it a step back to Multiversus. The character's straight up locked. You can't play the character at all. Where's the temptation to buy? Not even the skin, but the character themselves. If I can't play them and have fun, then there's never like, oh, I'm having fun, let me buy this. There's zero temptation because I never get a taste of the character. Especially with fighting games, we see that having a bigger roster is a big ask for new players. People like options. So on one end of the spectrum, you have Ultimate with a million bajillion characters, and then all the way on the other end, you have Multiversus with 3 characters. And you gotta buy the rest. Just straight up that statement. A fighting game with 3 or 4 characters. That's suicide. Free to play works because there's fun first, and then you're enticed to spend money because you're having fun. When you make a free-to-play game, but then lock off a huge chunk of the game behind a purchase, it's like, at that point, just charge for the game, because all you're doing is moving the purchase back. I gotta have fun to... I keep saying the same thing over again, but it feels like you don't get it, Warner Brothers. Not Warner Brothers, Tony. Tony's the idiot, not Warner Brothers. Ah! Go crazy! Why, Wicked Witch? Why? She's done too! I saw someone that I think worked on the game made a tweet of all the characters that were being worked on, and there were a bunch that were done, and she's on there, bro. She was done. I was so close. The only reason God Pass works is because that is straight up a good deal, and I'm acknowledging that. Oh, here, pay $60, get all the characters, and since it's all the characters forever, they're losing money there, but they know that now that I have all the characters, I also am a potential customer for all skins that they make. On Multiversus, since there's not an easy way to get all the characters, whenever they make a skin, almost no one is a potential customer. Take the Multiversus player base and think, how big or small is it at a given moment in time, and think only a fraction of that could potentially buy a skin when they release it. It's like, hey, new Velma skin. Well, I don't have Velma, so I don't care. And oh, new I don't know, whatever, Garnet skin. And then, oh, well, I don't have Garnet, so I don't care. Ooh, new Jack skin. I don't have Jack, so I don't care. And it's this continuous cycle of when you put resources into making skins, you're losing money because those skins aren't going to be able to be sold to anybody because no one has the characters. I mean, good God, we've seen this with Overwatch. And when you go and read the Reddit post, I've been on too much Reddit, guys. It's affecting my well-being. When you go and you look at the Reddit post from when Overwatch made the roster open, because they locked it when Overwatch 2 came out, and now it's open again. Everybody can play characters. It's very telling of that this doesn't work. You can't have a free-to-play game with a locked roster. Bad for the game, it's bad for the player base, and it's terrible for skin sales. There have been plenty of times during Smite where there's a character that I don't really play, but then a crazy cool skin comes out for him, and I'm like, ooh. Maybe I'll hop on Poseidon and get that hot sauce skin. Ooh. It's an investment. You give people free stuff and then they spend money later. That's so weird to be so like, no, we need money now, so buy these characters. But then why is the game free if you need money so immediately? Like, just charge for the game and then give us the whole roster. The other issue, which is the part that I thought Warner Brothers was responsible for, is the aggressive microtransactions, where there's like 500 different currencies and everything. Does different stuff and all like cost money. It costs like a little too much money. Yeah, a lot of people took issue with that. I don't think it was a bit as big of a deal as the other two things. If they never did the system change, and if all the characters were free, or there was a one-time purchase for all the characters, that would have helped Multiversus a lot, and the microtransaction thing wouldn't have been that big of a deal. If the game was fun, I don't think it would have mattered that much, but since the game had those issues that held it back from being as fun as it could be, this was just the caca cream on the poo-poo platter. This would be the part of the video where I reprimand WB for being a nasty little evil company, but apparently, according to all the Reddit leaks, it was all Tony's fault. He did it all. He's a nasty little guy, and Warner Brothers is the victim here. So, Nah, but it had to be a little bit, but nah. There's no way Warner didn't help soil this diaper. Pull it back a little bit, Shadow of Mordor was an excellent game that debuted at the Nemesis system. In 2017, its sequel, Shadow of War, my favorite game, would release expanding on the original in every way. The Nemesis system is the game mechanic of our time, but unfortunately, its praises were drowned out by all the complaints about the microtransactions in Shadow of War. Who could've mandated microtransactions in Shadow of War? That's so tricky. You know what? Maybe the devs thought it would be a good get-rich-quick scheme. Maybe Warner Brothers had nothing to do with it. Because Warner Brothers is good at minding their own business, right? They're good at staying out of the way of creatives and letting them make good product, right? The MCU has had a bit of a track record of not doing like insane masterpiece after masterpiece, but being relatively successful, just decent movie after decent movie after decent movie. Whereas the DCU has had a reputation of browning their britches, all right? Of reaching the bum-bum, of shitting their pants. And MCU does a lot of bragging about how the creatives really do have a good bit of control when making shows and movies. The people that are actually passionate fans of the source material have a lot of say-so. DCU, the Snyder Cut, is a tribute to how Warner Brothers messes with the movies. The fact that that was necessary for people to be like, release his version of it, meant that they mangled his version of it so bad that the movie that got released was unrecognizable. But I can't prove that the blame mostly falls on WB and not the creatives themselves. Just how I can't prove that the Suicide Squad game or that Mortal Kombat 1 is Warner Brothers' fault. But how many corpses gotta turn up in a guy's front lawn before it stops being circumstantial evidence? It's just weird that all these projects are headed by completely different teams, but they all seem to come back to very similar problems. And the only connection between them all, supposedly, would be Warner Brothers. But as Reddit said, they're the victims in all this, so it couldn't have anything to do with them. It can't be their fault. All the leakers, all the professionals, all the insiders, all the king's horses, all the king's men, all seem to think that this has nothing to do with Warner Brothers and it's just Tony's fault. It's just Tony's fault. That's what Reddit said. It's just Tony. But I'm just an angry, little sad, little gross, little disease-ridden, wicked witch mane. I don't know better than these people, right? So if they say it was Tony's fault, it was probably Tony's fault. And logically, in my brain, in my dome piece, all the facts laid out, it would seem that it's definitely Tony's fault. But it just feels right to blame Warner Brothers. Supposedly, Warner Brothers wants Multiversus just without Tony, so they're taking the game down and they're gonna try and boot him out, and then they'll bring the game back with a different lead. And you know, if that happens, cool, we get the game back. Can a free-to-play live service game survive under Warner's rule? Or is Multiversus doomed to go the way of SWAT cats? Oh yeah, you thought I forgot. I remember SWAT cats. I remember what you did. That's the end of the video.
One, two, three, break it down.
Get busy. Get busy. Get busy.